Okay.
Oh, and I've just started the recording for our third session, the last 15 minutes about technology power-ups. I'll let you introduce this one because you are super creative, and I think you'll do it justice.
No pressure. Okay, thank you, Rich. So what we're talking about here with Be Creative is building on what we've already presented in the previous two lightning talks. So about being seen, about being heard, about making sure that your online presence is as good as it can be. Now, one of the reasons for doing that is obviously your presentation, your engagement, your class with your students, or your people that are in the meeting is much more engaging, and they're going to be able to see you, read cues like body language and those sorts of things, and have a much better experience. But one of the real benefits of this kind of technology is that you can, for example, like with Collaborate, you can repurpose a live event into reusable and retargeted resources. So by that, I mean, you can click like we are record here. We can have these sessions pretty much within a few minutes once the system's, finished processing them. We can provide links out to people to say, here's a copy of the recording so that you can view it again. But we can also download those recordings and take them into software like Premiere Pro or some of the Movie Maker, and you can edit that software, edit using that software, and take little clips and things out of those presentations as well. So the content is immediately reusable as it is, but you can also then patch different things together to use it in different ways. It's also saying that you can apply all the things that we're talking about to using your own devices to make content. So obviously, this isn't just about being live and online. This is also about how you create rich content, creative content for your online courses and things as well. And we use the same principles. If you've got great audio, so for example, for me with that, I've got some other bits and pieces that we'll show later, but a good microphone that plugs into this device to, to pick up the sound, a tripod that, keeps it stable. So there's some of the sorts of things we're going to be talking about. I don't want to steal all of Rich's thunder, but that's some of the stuff that we'll be talking about there. Now, Rich is going to take over this next bit. Are you ready for this? About sharing a second camera. I think he's getting prepared there. I can't hear you, Rich.
There we go. Now I've turned on my microphone. You want to be heard.
Be heard.
Not just be seen. So I've got my second camera ready to share. I've got it in a wireless mode, and I'll get running in a second as well. So that's what we're talking about. We looked at sharing that second camera. I'm going to show you that in action. Now, when you're sharing a second camera, I've got my microphone in front of me, so it's not so good if I share my second camera, go around the other side of my room and do some stuff there. I'm going to have this echoey thing, and suddenly the audio's gone. I've done all this great job. I want to remember about sharing audio. That's where maybe a Bluetooth headset would work really well, or which I'll show you, which I do, is I've got my my mic on an articulated arm, so we can look at that. But also remember your camera, your lightning and lightning. I'm saying that all the time. Lighting, making sure that there's still some good lighting around for what you're trying to show. So I'm going to share my second camera. So I'm actually going to stop this. You should be able to see me at the top, and I've got my phone and I've got a bit of software called NDI running. So this is actually a bit of software that is an industry bit of software. I do a bit of volunteer work where we use that kind of stuff. Or there's some free apps that basically turn your mobile device into a wireless webcam that Collab can recognize. And as you can see, I've got my microphone, but it's on one of these articulated arms, and I literally got this one for like $20 down at a local shop. But what it does is allows me to sit in a normal session. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my side desk here, and I can lift it up and slide it while the audio still remains. So I'm going to switch to my webcam, my wireless cam, and I'm just going to put it on a little tripod. And again, this is a little cheap $20 tripod. And I'm going to just mount it into the top there. Oh dear, I've dropped it, sorry. Obviously you do this before you start sharing it, but I just wanted to show you the process. I've got it hooked up there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my camera and I'm going to share my external camera. And you can share this in Collaborate, but just go to the share content, share camera, and I'm going to choose this camera here. Now you can see I've got a different view. So obviously I'd have this set up beforehand, but here I've got some equipment I want to show you. I'm going to bring my microphone back up to this new spot. So I'd have this set up, and now I can talk about some of the equipment that I wanted to talk about. There might be some scientific equipment. In this case, I've just shown you some of the external cameras I've used with Collaborate. Obviously the phone, which I'm showing now. If you don't want to spend money on an app, you can actually just plug in your cable and plug it into your computer and can turn it into a bit of a webcam with a little bit of software as well. I've quite successfully used a GoPro. At the moment, you have to plug in an HDMI cable on the side, plug it into your computer, and it can act as a webcam, which is great. I've used this as a cam for my little external microscope. It's great for getting a bit of close-up work. You might put this on your chest or something like that. And I've also had some good success with the DSLR. Again, on the side of these things, there's a couple of ports. There is an HDMI out on many of these ones, which you can use as well. There's like a little mini HDMI on that side. Look at that in the side things there. But this particular model, I can plug in a USB cable. And there's a bit of free software that this is a Nikon that turns this into a webcam, and I can use that in Collaborate. And in fact, one of our solutions engineers over in the US uses this as his webcam because it's such high quality, and he can, you know, on a tripod, you can really zoom in on things and get a really good feel when he's demonstrating something or talking about something specific. Instead of you having to imagine, you can do this here. So that's one of those things about sharing your webcam. We've done a few things where I've shared a webcam onto a microscope. I think, Jack, you're going to talk about some of the other bits of equipment. I'll stop sharing that, and I'll let you take back over, and you can share something your side.
Okay, just give me a second, and I'm just going to share my camera a little bit bigger. So there you go. So yeah, similar to Rich, I've got a little setup here, which is it's a Rode mic vlogger kit basically. What I've done is I've added in a so it can collapse down so you can use it as handheld, which is kind of cool. It's nice and light so that it'll be nice and stable. It will take any kind of phone into the space, and it also adjusts so that if you're wanting to do what Rich was showing where you wanted to adjust to show down, you can do that. It comes with a pretty reasonable kind of stand, but what I did was go and buy myself a one of those selfie sticks. It's the only time I ever found a use for a selfie stick. But suddenly what it does is it takes this tiny little tripod to be something that you could use to get kind of an overhead, really high overhead view, a little bit more like you get with a drone or something like that kind of effect, but to reach out over something, you know, if you're wanting to, you know, look into some plants or something like that, it's quite useful and pretty easy to just adjust. Very light, like literally, I usually chuck this thing in my handbag. I'd unscrew this little bit so that that's not part of it. So this is basically the kind of the kit you start off with. Just a pretty simple one. Now the other benefit that this comes with is it comes with a microphone that plugs straight in, so you can get them for all your different devices. This one just plugs into the side here, and all of a sudden the audio quality, when we were talking about being heard before, the audio quality is amazing from this thing. It's got a dead cat on it. If I take the dead cat off, that's actually the microphone that you get in there. So you can see at the moment this one is set up for an iPhone, but I've also got ones that connect into other devices as well. Again, this weighs like nothing. Whoa, that good nothing. Another stand I got the other day, actually, in response to some of our clients when we're traveling in WA, saying they were working with music and dancing and students and things. This little tripod costs about 25 bucks, and it's got its own built-in camera. And one of the benefits of that is you just slot your phone into it and you turn it on, and it will track 360 wherever you move without any kind of app or any other thing attached to that. And this also unscrews and can go on to another stand or a tripod or whatever else to work as well. So again, for such a simple little device, for not much money, you've all of a sudden got this tool to either have, she wanted it for a live class with Collaborate to be able to show them you know, moving around the room and obviously not having someone following with a camera. And this thing just literally tracks you as you go around because it uses its own camera. Charges up via USB, lasts hours and hours. It's really awesome. Rich has a magnificent microscope, which I've been very jealous about for a very long time. And so for $29, I bought myself this one online. Are you jealous yet, Rich? Because this one does, I think mine's only 1,000 or something that it goes to, but you can plug this in and use it just with like your mobile device. You'd obviously need a different connector for it, but you can plug it in and use it with your iPhone or your Android or your tablet to use it as a camera. But you can also then use it with Collaborate, for example, to be able to show students, you know, an experiment or something like that. And it's just super cool and really easy. It's got a built-in zoom, and it weighs nothing for kit, and it doesn't cost that much as a solution. Last thing that I've got to show, because it's my new toy and I've got a one-up, Rich, is this is my new toy, which is a Blackmagic camera. Similar to what Rich was talking about, this is actually a dedicated video camera, but I could use this as an extra camera as well if I wanted really good quality, like high quality. We've already established that's not mega important. You've got to, you know, you're better off to be seen. But if you want better quality, you can hook in all sorts of devices. You don't have to be just thinking about it's just got to be a phone. It could be a camera you've got already or something like that as well. So that's that. Rich, did you want to switch back to the slides? I'll just stop sharing.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll just take a moment for my computer
That's
to.
right.
There we go. And probably got 1 minute to talk about a few of these things. And you know what we're talking about, as soon as you've got your audio and your video, especially if you've got some ideas that we've been talking about, be seen, be heard, be seen. Once you start getting a bit creative with these things, then your online presentations, sessions, workshops aren't just limited to your office or the classroom. You can connect your phone to Collaborate, and you can organize a virtual tour of a factory or some specific equipment or some group work where you're creating something there, or here, which you wouldn't let me anywhere near a bandsaw because I would lose some fingers. But a paint studio, organizing to go see someone there, or actually what we're going to, if you're going to stay around for the conference social, you're going to actually see a band hooked in just like that, and something as simple as like that. To get full-on streaming audio and video, you have to have a significant investment in equipment, but you can get pretty much most of the way there with just a mixing desk and Collaborate, which you're going to see later on if you come to the conference social and see the guys there. So I hope this has really sparked your imagination, what's possible, not only with what's already in your hands, that level 1, maybe a small step up into you looking at those level 2 side of things. But where appropriate, maybe think about where that level 3 investment would make the most sense to meet your teaching and learning needs, and take the step there. And we hope it's been very useful for you, giving you some ideas, and above all, inspired you to really take the message. Education, I'm preaching to the choir here, I know, but education is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful forces that we have to change our world for good. Our messages are incredibly important. What we're doing is incredibly important and vital work. So we might as well make that little investment to make sure we're seen and heard and creative, and people are engaging with the message that we have. I'll leave you with any last thoughts there, Jack.
Yes, he or she or they that die with the most toys wins. So that's usually the motto that Rich and I live by. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you.
Yes, Nick.